on this Wednesday?
Hello, Scott. Brad is a little bit under the weather today, so he won't be yapping as much as I will be yapping. Welcome everyone to the Trade Ideas Q&A. Hopefully my microphone is sounding good. Can everyone hear me well?
Good. Yeah, you sound good.
You sound terrible, buddy. Okay, so number one, I dropped a little YouTube that I did with a YouTuber yesterday, just for your entertainment purposes. You know, if you want to kind of hear us BS about different stuff. It's not like uber serious, but it's pretty, you know, I think entertaining. So let's begin with the Q&A. Brad, let's take away the first slides. First of all, please understand that we are not registered investment advisors, so all the information you're going to hear from myself or anyone at Trade Ideas should not be construed as any kind of investment in advice or solicitation to purchase anything. Thank you. As you all know, Trade Ideas, we are the leader in streaming real-time data notifications. We are like the Twitter feed that everybody is talking about right now, but on steroids. In reality, however, there's many similarities, whereas on Twitter, you subscribe to a person or some sort of a robot sometimes that will tweet something or other and you see it and you feel like you're being informed. That's your subscription feed, and there's many people that use Twitter. Trade Ideas is sort of similar. You subscribe to a feed and that feed gives you stocks that you might want to see. You may want to look at a feed of small stocks that are trending up or small stocks that are trending down. You may look at a feed that has very big companies that are trading unusual volume, and we could show you all of that. That's what we've done for the last 20 years, and we are the leader in it. There is no other company that can do exactly what we do feature for feature. There are zero, and we are the only game in town for event-based back testing, something that Brad and I will discuss as we're discussing the AI. And of course, as the two arrows point out, we are made in the USA by US developers. We have the best driving range for you with our simulated trading. It's like, Brad, we only need one slide.
I know you could just stay here the whole time, huh?
I do not like this one. Just stay right here. We've been on the Inc. 5000 5 years in a row, and we're taking a year off for even applying because, you know, we want to like see what happens when we play a little hard to get. You know, Brad, like Inc. thinks we're going to be in there all the time. Let's pull away a little bit, play a little hard to get. That's what we're doing. But again, we have lots of industry awards. Been doing it since 2003, and you're in the midst of seeing one of the biggest, if not the, no, in reality, it's the biggest technological changes in Trade Ideas' history, as we are moving everything to the web and kind of phasing out Trade Ideas Pro to an extent. It will exist. Like Brad gave me a great treat the other day. He showed me our old version of the software from like 2005, and I was like, Brad, I want that. That looks good. You know, it looks like, okay, if I don't see something, I want it again. Just whatever I don't have, I want. Brad, what is that? That's something, right? Psychologically? Yeah. Grass is greener.
It's some problem you have, but you know.
It's a problem everybody has. But anyways, we are super stoked that you guys are here, and ladies, of course. And we're going to show you some really interesting stuff. Some things that we, in the Q&A, we always show you different things that we've been working on. And let's, Brad, let's get started. I mean, I think I've done all the slides we need to do, right?
Yeah, let's pull that baby out. You said you wanted to go with the AI starting there?
Yeah, but let's go with the AI and you have so many.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. Confusing.
You're so big fella. Brad is one of these guys. He's like Laird Hamilton. Surfing, like unless it's 40 feet, Laird's not coming out.
Yeah, don't bore me with that.
Well, don't bore me with this 20, 15 footers and have a hammock out there. Okay, so what separates, remember I told you guys that there's no other company that does what we do. This is a fact. What is the thing that no other company does? No other company has a trade signal AI where they track all the P&L of what the AI is doing and showing it to you as it happens. And this AI being able to serve multiple purposes. Number one, it's your trade navigator. It's a statistical only AI. It doesn't feels like we feels things. It's purely statistical. That doesn't mean that it's always right, but certainly when things fall into a mathematical pattern, it's the best of the best. And let's just take a look. Since Brad, your voice just wants to talk about this
All right,
MRTH.
yeah, well, honestly, I haven't even looked at this yet today, but let's go through it. Let's take a look. And what I did was I sorted it on the entry time. So that's when the signal's generated for the user. So you're going to start off at the end of the, or at the beginning of the day, and you're going to have nothing here. So we have no ideas of what we're going to be doing. And based upon how the market is moving and the different strategies that are in play for the day is going to determine what signals are generated. So about 13 minutes after the market opened, I'm on the West Coast, so 6:30 we open. So at 6:43, we had this symbol trigger, OLLI. It was a short position. So let's just pull it up and take a look, and we can visually look at it and we can see what happened here. So we had the sell signal right here after a big breakdown. We had the sell signal, and it looks like it was positive for, it's a 15-minute chart, so it was positive for about 45 minutes, and then it kind of pulled back and flatted, got to a point where it was right at the entry point, and then it just proceeded to continue to move in the original direction that the trade was in, going short. So pretty good trade here, and it gives you a nice visual display of where your risk is here. So we've got every entry, whether it's a long or a short, it's going to have a stop on there where we're telling you that if it exceeds that direction, it might not be a good idea to stay in it, probably a good idea to get out or reevaluate. And so you see where that is right there. So overall, it was a pretty good trade.
But
And
Brad, as you're doing this, let's just remind individuals again, and you can look at TradingView, TrendSpider, other competitors that we have. Who else, ask yourself, does this? Where again, every trade that you get into, there's this visual automatic risk and reward area for you. And the computer is showing you kind of like, again, a golf coach, what to do and what is the proper strategic way to play the game. Go ahead, Brent.
you mentioned earlier that the great benefit of this is it doesn't have the same emotion that we have as humans. And you look at something like this. This is the longer term chart right here, the daily chart, and you can see that the stock gapped down pretty significantly. So it's already down, pretty big from yesterday's close. And at that point, a lot of people are like, wow, let's play the bounce. There's some good opportunity here. A lot of people are like, I don't even want to go short because it's already broken so much. And that's where emotion comes in. But what this is doing is it's just really looking at the statistics, without that emotion. And it felt like based upon the strategy, and the strategy was a breakdown short strategy. All three of those shorts here were generated from that strategy. And that's what it's looking for. It's looking for a weak stock that's just ready to continue that slide. Yeah, so that was an interesting candidate right there. Let's go to the next one. Just a couple minutes later. So you're presumably still in this position here, and then this one trades. And I don't know what was happening at the market at that time. Let me look over here. Nothing crazy. So the market's not falling out of bed at that moment in time, but these stocks sure are. And this is it's a 3-day capitulation here from 95 bucks all the way down. So it's almost been cut in half over a couple-day period of time. So here, early in the open, 15, 16 minutes after the open, spotted that. It gave you your risk, your stop right here. Pretty good risk reward, honestly. If you were to get out at our conservative level, which was right about here. But it continued. If you were to hold this the entire day, it just without any additional risk, it stayed below that moving average that we've got right here, and really just a nice continuation. So here's one. It doesn't look quite as great. It's still a profitable trade, but we got short right here, and it meandered there for about an hour. Looks like maybe 45 minutes. It broke down, and you have a great opportunity to get here. We actually give you 3 different profit modes with this, and The first profit mode is our conservative profit, and that's really taking the shortest time frame, the least amount of risk, and giving you that trade opportunity. And then we have another risk mode called our moderate profit, and that's really trying to hold this position until the end of the day. Absent of it getting stopped out, we're going to try to hold it. And then the last one is aggressive, and not that we recommend aggressive, but it's great to have this data point in your purview so that you know exactly what's happening. This is essentially holding the stock to the end of the day, regardless of whether the stop gets hit. So for the most part, you're going to see that the aggressive and the moderate are likely going to be the same. But if you were to get stopped out, then that's where the moderate would lock your profit in at that stop level, and the aggressive would continue either in your favor or against you. So that's why we
Brad,
give you the 3 different modes. Yeah.
so let's add to that the fact that while the AI closes everything overnight, any of these trades can also be potential swing trades, and there's even a channel for that. Let's take just a quick look. Long-term Holly AI, it's right underneath the Holly AI, and it has some interesting stuff that, again, those that are on the premium side of the equation are able to see. So here, once again, what we're trying to do is to showcase the fact that sometimes, and again, depending on what your risk tolerance is, these trades can be incredibly profitable long term. And take a look at the little snapshot charts, and you can just see as an example. And Brad, maybe another thing that you can do is explain to people why, like, for example, would they see AEY? Like, let's go back a little bit, because, you know, right now, it's the stock is actually above this level and it's a sell signal. But what is the software trying to tell you?
Yeah, so what it's doing is it's taking a look at some of the historical AI signals, previous calls, and days back, weeks back, could even be a month back. And it's looking at those calls, and based upon some uh, real-time occurrence that's happening either today or yesterday or a recent time period, it's bringing that old idea back into your mind to say, look, this is a stock here that has some continued potential, or it's a stock that's continued moving past that point. So you sold it here and it's been moving down ever since. That's the kind of look that we've got on this particular view. And you've got the grid up at the top that allows you to take these different ideas and sort them essentially. You can see when the original signal was generated visually here, as well as where the stock currently is trading.
So, Brad, also look, take a note that just for people's interest, so to speak, this is a quick glance visually where you can also see some percentage point catches. And again, when you're able to hold something through risk management, like look at the percentage change there in X5. Is that a gap down? I can't even see that 870 price. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah,
Maybe click on.
I might have a bit of an issue here, but let me pull it up here on the chart and take a longer view at it.
Okay.
Essentially, for some reason, I got to take a look. This may be getting cut off right here in the version that I have.
Yeah.
But this is the longer term right here. And so this was the signal, the original AI signal, and this is where it is now. So a pretty good longer term trade as well.
And you're talking about, from August. Let's take a look at that M. I mean, that M trade, I mean, it looked like you were
Well,
just sniping.
this is where I just noticed the bug here that's on the screen, right? Because if you look at this here, the last price based on here is right about the sell price, which the chart's not reflecting, but watch what happens as I bring it in here. This is where our snapshot's getting cut off right here.
Gotcha. But it did.
Everything else is correct on here. The total
Well,
percent change, this is negative 2.2%, right? So we haven't, if it was down here, we'd be up 15%, something like that.
but you can see that from the sales point in August, it basically went down all of August and pretty much a lot of September, and turned around in October. And
Yeah, I
stocks do
think,
that.
the idea here behind this particular signal, and it's again not reflective in this little bug we're looking at here on this area chart, but the idea behind generating this signal, bringing it back into your mind's eye is that this original signal was generated here, right, at this price point. The
Right.
stock did break down. It went all the way to below 50, and it came back up, and it went up to a higher point. Now it's at that threshold area where it's coming back into that original signal call. So this is where, obviously you need to use your own trading judgment and understanding of what's happening in the marketplace. But the idea here is that this could be another continuation down, like a double top.
And this is a premium part of the service. Brad, let's just go through that a little quickly, just kind of give people a glance of what
Mm-hmm.
they can see. And
So this looks like it's exactly the same setup, looking for a potential double top.
yep.
Okay, now this is an interesting one here because if you look at some of the data points that we provide here, let me bring it up, Burlington. So we've got this little bar down at the bottom that lets you know since that signal was generated back here, the stock has been negative, been out of the money for 60 of the 73 days, and only 13 of the days were positive, right? So now you can see that it's been building momentum as it's been moving back up. So that's why that one, was visible here on the screen.
That's another almost interesting thing. Like imagine having a table, Brad, of the days profitable, like one under the other, days profitable to not days profitable, and being able to sort them. I mean, Brad and I develop software this way. You see what I mean? It's almost like a bunch of in-range indicators or something that you can put into next to our new symbol plus,
Yeah.
possibly.
I can see that. This is an interesting one here. This is another short, and this is quite the opposite from that, right? It's only been negative 11 of all the days, where it's been positive 62 of them. So these are the negative days right here, and these are all the positive days down here.
Okay. So Brad, I think that's a pretty good overview of the AI. I mean, both historical and again, just the type of performance that we had today, which let's look at the thing that you're looking at there, sir.
Yeah, so what I did here is right at the beginning of the webinar, I started and you could do this really anytime. I opened up one of the races that I look at during the day. This is one that I have always running. It's typically 10-minute races where it's giving me the relative strength leaders from the open. So these are all the high flyers from the open. And I think you can get something pretty close to it right from the explosive winners channel. And then what I did was I just hit the replay button, which is this guy right here. It's now set to stop, but when it's not doing anything, it's a replay button, and I set it, and it's basically looking at the market from the beginning of the day. This particular strategy, which is again looking for stocks that are moving pretty strongly up from the open, and it's giving me that replay, and it's doing the whole market, everything from 6:30 to 1 o'clock. Or whatever time frame you're on, but the entire market, it's giving me in a 6.5-minute time frame. So I'm halfway into the market right here, a little bit more. I've sized my window, so it's changed my dimensions a bit. But as you pull something up, you can see exactly what's going on. Let me do this though. Let me start it from the beginning right here. So I'm just going to refresh it, starting from the beginning. So it's going to go back to the market open, and now it's going to just run. It's going to run the 6.5 minutes. And as I start pulling up some of these stocks, this is like if you were looking at this right at this moment in time, I'm going to be getting, this is the beginning of the market right here. So this is the pre-market session, and look at this first bar right here. So this stock right here, Stitch Fix, is kind of winning the early race, from the first 15-minute time period. But then, it starts to pull back, and you can see some of the other stocks that are really starting to move. Now, this happens to be a pretty cheap stock, so you're getting some big percentage moves, but you can control that. You can control that in the top list that you're looking at. Everything here is driven from a top list like this, and you can put in your price constraints just like you do with any of our other windows. So we'll just pull some of these, and you can see this guy, really had a really strong move up. And so we're just going to play, we're not going to sit here for the whole 6.5 minutes and do it, but you can set this up, and you can set these replays up to look at a particular time frame. Maybe I only want to look at the last race, or maybe I only want to look at the last 15 minutes or a particular 15-minute period in time. You can set that all up, and you do that in the race setup here. You got to talk, Dan. I need to get some water.
Okay. So Sorry, Brad. What Brad's showing you is the configuration of the race screen where you can really set it up to do whatever it is that you want. Notice the race lanes, that's how many stocks you're gonna see at any one time. Of course, you can shrink the window, but you can get a smaller race where you focus like on the top 3. For example, Brad, let's switch it to 3 race lanes. Just
All right, let me do that.
Yep.
Oh, phew. Is that all you want to see?
Yeah.
You want me to run real time or replay?
Well, let's run it real time just so people can see. So watch, it reconfigures it, and there you go. And the reason these 3 are in here is because these are the stocks that Brad put in himself, so they're always going to be in, but let's get rid of them. Right?
Might need to tweak the top list, but let's.
Maybe not.
Okay.
And restart it, yeah. So there you go. So depending on what it is you want to see, now there's nothing wrong in watching it 3 stocks in a row, because if one stock, basically what will happen is a stock will replace a stock if it's no longer important. So if you, in this particular case, what Brad's showing you is that if you want to be dialed into the top 3 winners in terms of like who's moving the most from the open, and the open is more important than the close because stocks can gap up like 30% and then trade down all day, but still be up 25% after trading down 5% from the open. So you can have a negative day to where people were trading, but of course, when you look at it, it looks like it's positive. So we trade from the open because that's where we can get in. And so what you're seeing here is that view mode. This is important. These stocks right here are important. And of course, Brad can also do a quick filter. Now, Brad, click on the gear icon, please. And let's change it from 0.5, which is 50 cents, to $5. Min volume today, 1 million. And hit, yep. Let's continue, yep. And now let's replay it. So
we can
here's
replay. You'll get it faster. Let's replay because it'll be probably a little faster and a little more interesting as it's moving through.
okay.
And you do have the ability in this race setup right here, where is it, to replace symbols. Like if you have that unchecked and you don't have the replace symbols checked on here, essentially you're going to run the race with the same participants the whole time. So nobody's going to get replaced out of it.
Is that real data or is that replay data?
This is replay data.
Okay. Oh, replay mode. I see it. Gotcha. My bad. Couldn't. And by the way, why do you need to focus on replay mode? Well, you want to focus on replay mode because it kind of is like watching tape for a fight. You want to see who's moving, who was moving all day. And you know, Brad, something that I'm starting to work on, and we don't have this on the layouts, but one thing that we often do is change the user experience, and we're always wanting to make it simpler and easier, and sometimes again the pendulum swings, but what I want to do is I want to make it more easy for people to, let's say, watch the race of the whole day. You know, imagine, Brad, that you start and this is your setup, but instead of like, go do a configure real quick. Show race setup. My bad. The real one. No, not that one.
Oh,
the setup.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
So do you notice that it says minutes to run 10 minutes? So Brad, maybe you can explain for people, what does that mean?
Yeah, so the interesting thing, I think we glanced over the whole concept of the race because the race is really giving you the ability to take a look at any duration or period of time, and we've got it set to 10 minutes. But the interesting thing is that it's kind of like a race where everybody's starting at the same point. So I could be looking at 3 different stocks and they could all be up different amounts. They could all be different prices. And when I start that race, they're essentially all flat. They're all together. And this gives me an ability visually to see the stocks that are moving faster than the other stocks. So it's not like, it's kind of hard to explain. I'm not coming up with the right words, but if a stock starts to move right now, I'm going to see it in the race. And the thing is that I'm not going to see when I'm looking at normal data is if a stock is up 10% and one's up 8%, that stock that could be up 8% could be making that move from 8 to 9%. And that's a big opportunity right there. But you may just not notice that because it's still in the same ranked order in your list where it's still below the stock that's up 10%, and that's getting all your attention. So this allows you to take a group of stocks using our top list or your own stocks that you want to watch and see exactly how they're moving at this point in time. So when I hit that play button right here and now, these guys, they're all up different amounts for the day, but they're all starting at this point in time. So when something starts to move over and above the other ones on a percentage basis, I'm going to know it.
So Brad, now imagine you've got one of these races and it's done every 10 minutes, but right above it, you open up another one and you're letting it go for 6 hours. What are you going to see there? And
Yeah,
obviously in that
I'm
one,
going
you
to
would
see an
want to,
all day. I'm going to see an all day race. So I'm going to see stocks moving in and out because I would on an all day race like that, I would want to see that. I would want to have it replace symbols because when
of course.
something starts to move, I want to know about it. And that's where the beauty is because it's going to automatically come into that window, and it'll come into probably the short-term one first because that's where you're getting some real quick data. Whereas you're looking at the longer-term one, it may take a little bit more time for that momentum and acceleration to kind of become enough to highlight it through all the stocks that are out there.
Yeah, so I think the thing that we're really trying to communicate is that we have this unique way to look at data, and there's really no other company that has that. And it's very similar to the really cool, innovative stuff that people on Reddit were doing about mentions of the meme stocks. You know, it's kind of that concept visually. Brad, let's go pop into Brokerage Plus if we can. Well, unless you want to show them how to
No,
do what you're
it's
about to
okay.
do.
No, that's all right. We'll pop into Brokerage Plus.
Let's show them Brokerage Plus and some of the new things that we're doing with the P&L there.
Yeah, so this is kind of our standard Brokerage Plus, and it's like a piece of clay. You can move these tabs around and have a different visual experience. Maybe I want to look at my two positions or two accounts next to each other and something like this if I wanted a wider window. But it's a little piece of clay, and we're making it easier to shape the data and to visualize the data. So let me just get rid of that and start over with kind of a fresh one that I didn't butcher. And you can launch it right here from this Brokerage Plus icon up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll appear over on my other monitor here. But let me just drill into a couple different accounts. Okay, and so what we've got, the ability to tabularly look at your data, just like a normal type of grid, looking at our P&L, all the different P&Ls, whether it's today, open, closed, total, giving you the max P&L for the day when you're in a position so you can see how much something may have pulled back off of its high. But we're bringing in this other view mode right here, and we're actually bringing in a couple different view modes. This is just the first to have made it into the display here. And let me just set it up so that we're looking at today's P&L. And all you need to do is check the show bar chart, and it's going to turn this into a bar chart. And we have options to go vertical or horizontal, be dark and light. And so you can customize your view, but it gives you another way to look at your portfolio on a graphical basis. And this is going to all move and update in real time. So you can just toggle back and forth between the two. You can actually, if I wanted to look at this guy here and have this set up to that particular account, I could look at this one as a bar chart, and I could set it up for just today. So, I can now look at my positions numerically and also have that visual representation down at the bottom. And again, you can configure all this. Maybe this doesn't have the order entry, and maybe it doesn't have your order buttons. So you can get kind of cute with how you want it to look.
Yeah, we're trying to get it more visual, and again, we're working on a lot of things on the P&L department. Let me kind of start the wind down, Brad, by saying And to all of you guys, if you are not practicing trading via our simulated trading mode, even if you have real live accounts, you are missing out. Uh, every good golfer spends a lot of time on the range, and there's a reason, because you have to keep working on your technique. Trading is the same way. Trading environments change all the time, and the way you keep your technique going is by practicing at the range. And in stock trading terms, the range is simulated P&L or our simulated trading environment. And everything that you see here applies to that. And that's where we're working on some of our biggest innovations. You're going to be able to place bets or trades on races, and we're going to start holding competitions in simulated trading mode with real data to see who is the better trader, and then reward those that are with lots of different opportunities from Trade Ideas. All right, Brad, let's PowerPoint it up and round it up. Okay, we are a completely venture capital free company, thanks to you guys, and you should pass this on. We have zero venture capital funding. You are speaking to the emperor. No, wait, Brad, the CEO, managing partner. I forget the titles, but the important part is that we are still a grassroots, independent startup culture company after 20 years because we have never had that VC money. We're a subscription-based service, and here's how much our subscriptions cost on a per day basis. And of course, we charge monthly or annually. And if you want to, please use our promo code today called FAST DATA, all caps, to get 15% off your first month, or much better offer of 15% off the whole year of Trade Ideas. Daily support sessions. Our education is one of our key components to the full experience of Trade Ideas. We have lots of information for you to take advantage of, especially when it comes to how to use the software. And all you have to do is go to trade-ideas.com/live and see what event we're hosting probably today that you can sign up for and just get better at it. And that's the same thing back to the driving range. Imagine you can go there by yourself, but what if you had a swing coach who was always looking at you and give you feedback? That's what our team does. They are your trading swing coach. Brad, please patent that.
You got it.
Thank you. Super Barry, he's here helping in the presentation room. Like Brad, likes to have lots of data on his trading room screen, but he is the lord of the trading room. Trade-ideas.com/trading room holds a meritocracy of fine knights on the quest for profits and better trading results. Barry is a pleasure for everybody who goes there, so please check him out in our free live trading room. Of course, we not only do simulated trading, but we do actual trading through interactive brokerage, which is where you can trade Holly automatically if you want to, or just anything you need to in terms of actual trading access through our Brokerage Plus. And of course, E-Trade for commission free is also available. Brad, you're so quick.
My scroll wheel, sorry.
It's okay, big guy. Zero commission broker is available. And of course, if you are really interested in some fun stuff, we are all very active in social media. Yeah, it's the next slide, Brad. Yeah, check us out on, I left you guys a link, YouTube/Trade Ideas. And of course, everywhere that you like us, and tell people that you like us, we are grateful and appreciative. Thank you, everyone. Scott, I think we're all good.
Yeah, just stay tuned for a link to the replay on our YouTube channel. You get an email tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.